Now let's see what's inside the heart. And we will try to learn, as well as memorize the structures present inside the heart, starting with the chambers and great vessels of the heart. The heart is mainly composed of 4 chambers. For our convenience, we can divide the heart into 2 sides, left and right. 2 chambers are on the right side, and 2 are on the left side. The upper chambers are called atria of the heart, and the lower chambers are called ventricles of the heart. And so according to their location, chambers on the right side are called the right atrium and right ventricle. And those on the left side are called left atrium and left ventricle. You can easily memorize that by comparing A and V with an arrow. In A of atria, arrow is pointing upward, so they are the upper chambers, while in V of ventricles, arrow is pointing downward, as they are the lower chambers. Both left and right atria are thin-walled and low-pressured chambers that receive blood returning to the heart, whereas the ventricles are the thick-walled and high-pressure chambers that receive blood from atria, which they pump out to arteries. The left atrium and ventricle are separated from the right atrium and ventricle by a solid wall-like structure called septum. This keeps blood from one side of the heart from mixing with blood from the other side. The area where the septum separates the right and left ventricles is marked on the heart surface by the anterior interventricular sulcus. This groove cradles the anterior interventricular artery and continues to become the posterior interventricular sulcus. This sulcus is visible on the posterior inferior surface of the heart. After learning about heart chambers, we will look into the great vessels of the heart that are directly associated with the heart. Here, the right atrium of the heart receives blood directly from 2 large veins called the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava, and from a smaller vein called the coronary sinus. All these veins carry deoxygenated blood toward the heart, where the superior vena cava returns deoxygenated blood from areas of the body that are superior to the diaphragm, whereas the inferior vena cava returns blood from areas of the body that are inferior to the diaphragm. And the coronary sinus drains blood into the right atrium from the heart's own myocardium. Now let's have a look at the left side of the heart, where the left atrium, which makes up most of the base of the heart, can be seen prominently from the posterior side, gets oxygenated blood coming from the lungs through 4 pulmonary veins, 2 left pulmonary veins, and 2 right pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins are also most easily seen in a posterior view of the heart. So in this way, both atria get filled. Right atrium with deoxygenated blood coming from the body, and left atrium with oxygenated blood coming from lungs. Now when both these atria contract, they push this blood into the lower chambers of the heart, that are the ventricles. When these ventricles contract, the pressure inside ventricles increases, and the blood from the right ventricle enters the pulmonary trunk, which divides into the left and right pulmonary arteries. That takes deoxygenated blood to the lungs, hence they appear blue. Whereas the left ventricle, upon contraction, pushes the blood inside towards the ascending aorta. That is the great artery of the heart. This aorta then divides into several branches and supplies oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. So these were all the great vessels of the heart. Let's summarize it all on one slide, with some memorization tricks. Take these 4 boxes as 4 chambers of the heart, upper 2 atrium, and lower 2 as ventricles. I am numbering them 123 and 4 according to the flow of blood. 3 veins that can be remembered by the word sick. S for superior vena cava, I for inferior vena cava, and C for coronary sinus. These 3 veins bring deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. Upon contraction, this right atrium pushes the blood to the right ventricle, from where this deoxygenated blood then moves towards the lungs through pulmonary arteries, where it gets oxygenated and gets back towards the heart via pulmonary veins. And this time, this oxygenated blood enters into the left atrium. That pushes it to the left ventricle upon contraction, from where it passes to aorta, and then gets supplied to the whole body via aortic branches called arteries. But remember, both atria get filled simultaneously, and both ventricles get emptied simultaneously. And so the cycle continues. This chart was just for your memorization about great blood vessels and the flow of blood inside the heart.
Explore our extensive library of over 1,800 video lectures to learn about a wide range of topics. Only on sqadia.com.